सत्यं परं धीमहि। ॐ सत्यं परं धीमहि। ॐ सत्यं परं धीमहि। ॐ सत्यं परं धीमहि। ॐ सत्यं परं धीमहि।
जीवनम कवि भीर्दितं कल्मष अपहम श्रवण मंगलम श्रीमद अततम भुवि गृणन्ति ये गुरिदा जनाः. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. Tava katha amrutam, taru katha roop amrit. Katha would mean the nectar of your words. Amrit. Amrit is the nectar of your words. Katha. Taru katha roop amrit. તપ્ત જીવનમ સંતાપ વાલા માટે જીવન છે. જેને જીવનમાં સંતાપ છે એને માટે જીવન છે. They give life to those who are in suffering. Your words are full of nectar and they give life to those who are suffering. કવિ વીર ઇદિતમ કવિઓ દ્વારા વખણાયેલું ગવાયેલું છે. કવિઓ દ્વારા ટ્રાન્સમિટેડ બધાને જોડે શેર કરેલું છે. By poets and rishis, these words of yours have been shared with other people, transmitted to other people. કલ્મશ અપહમ પાપનું નાશ કરનારું છે. કલ્મશ એટલે પાપ, અપહમ એટલે એને અપહરણ કરવું, પાપને અપહરણ કરવું, પાપને કાઢી નાખે છે. These eradicates one's sinful actions. Kalmash apaham. શ્રવણ મંગલમ સાંભળવા વાળાનું મંગલ કરનારું છે. Those who hear it, those who hear this message of yours, their lives are filled with prosperity. Their lives are filled with good actions. શ્રીમદ અતતમ, શ્રીને વિસ્તૃત કરે છે. અતતમ એટલે વિસ્તૃત. Filled with spiritual power. These words of yours are filled with spiritual power, which is expanded, which is stretched. Bhuvi grunanti. Bhuvi means land, grunanti means grahan karu. ધરતી ઉપર જે જમીન પર એ વાવ્યું છે, જે જમીન પર તારા શબ્દ પડેલા છે, और જે લોકો આ શબ્દ વાવે છે, બધી જગ્યાએ લઈ જાય છે. People who are spreading this, who are sowing this on the land of the mind, of the heart. Bhurita janaha. These people are very, they give abundantly. Bhurita, they give abundantly. Janaha, people. They give abundantly. Or we could also say Bhurita means they are fortunate. આ લોકો ખૂબ આપે છે અને ખૂબ fortunate છે. એ રીતે આપણે કહી શકીએ. Now, the words of truth have been spoken by sages over ages and ages. There are three kinds of influences. One which is born in life and which is acted in life. The action and the birth of the influence is both in life. We will call this as A influence. It is mechanical in origin, and its action is also mechanical. That is why it is born in life. I may have an ambition to achieve something, to earn money, to become very powerful, to become very famous. So this ambition of mine, it is an A influence. It is born in life and it is acted out in life. There is no consciousness involved in this. So all life's actions are A influences. Everything is born in life. Then there is a C influence. A C influence is where the root of the influence, where the influence, when it was born through a conscious being. The words of the enlightened ones. The Bible, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, these are words of the enlightened ones. So they have a conscious birth. So here the gopis are saying Tava Katha Amrutam. It is a C influence. It has been born out of consciousness. These words of yours have been born out of consciousness. But these words which are born out of consciousness are many times spread by people who are not conscious themselves. They have not yet achieved that state of consciousness. The Guru goes away, the Guru leaves, but the disciples are not yet ready. Christ left, but Peter was not yet ready. He had to come back and to help Peter to achieve that state which he had achieved. So, the Guru goes away. The Guru's words are born out of consciousness. But the Guru goes away and the disciple is not yet ready. So then comes something else is born which is between A and C, and we will call it as a B influence, which is conscious in origin but becomes mechanical in action. And this is the problem with all words which are born out of consciousness. And that is why Lao Tse in his first line in his Tao Te King is the Tao that can be said is not the eternal Tao. Once it is said, it is no longer remains the truth. It no longer remains that eternal Tao. So the gopis are saying, Tava Katha Amrutam. Your words, they are C influences. They are born out of the conscious circle of humanity. They have come from the kingdom of heaven. Tatta Jivanam. Je tape chhe. The one who is burning inside. For him it is life. The one who is suffering inside. The one who is in conflict inside. For him your words are new life. They lead him out of suffering. When Buddha was enlightened, and the first sermon he gave was in the deer park at Sarnath near Varanasi. And the first sermon was to a few friends who were walking with him on the path. And he wanted to tell them that I have achieved the truth, I have got the truth. And the first thing he says that there is pain. There is pain. Second, he says there is a cause of pain. That cause can be known and understood. If the cause is removed, then pain which is yet to come can be avoided. These are called the four noble truths of Buddha. There is pain, There is a cause of pain. That cause can be known and eradicated. And if the cause is eradicated, if the cause is got rid of, then pain which is yet to come tomorrow can be avoided. Because there is no cause to invite that pain. So they are saying that your words are such that they take those people who are suffering in life, those je tapta che, je tape che, je bade che, je loko andar bade che, senathi bade che. We say jeev bade che. Jeev bade che. It's a very difficult thing to translate into English. Jeev bade che. My heart is burning, my soul is burning inside. I am burning inside. Why am I burning inside? Because I am full of jealousy. Why am I burning inside? Because I am full of worry. I'm worrying all the time. Why am I burning inside? Somebody has taken my car on loan and I'm we're burning inside. So they are saying, those who are burning inside from worry, from jealousy, from different kinds of psychological hungers, from the urge for sex, all this we are burning inside. I have an open wound inside, some hurt inside. કોઈકનો ઘાવ સાચવીને હું બેઠો છું. હવે બળું છું, જીભ બળે છે. I'm burning inside, an open wound. Somebody has said, I've got a grudge against someone. So, the gopis are saying that your words, they take those who are burning inside, those who are burning, tapta, je tape che, those who are burning inside, they give them new life, they give them jivanam. Javan brush. Jivanam. Right? New life. For all these, it is new life. It teaches them how to use the Agni. We waste the Agni. When do we feel the soul? When do we feel the soul? And when do we feel the ego? When do we feel the soul? ક્યારે આપણને જીવની અનુભૂતિ થાય છે અને ક્યારે અહમની અનુભૂતિ થાય છે? When do we feel the soul? When do we feel the ego? In all life's experiences, we feel only the ego. But જ્યારે જીવ બળે, when we are burning inside, for some time we feel the soul. When we are suffering inside, we feel the soul. Why do we feel the soul? Why do we feel the soul? Why do we feel the soul? So come jeevni. We don't use the word aham bade che. Jeev bade che. Why do we use that term? We don't use the word aham bade che. We don't say the ego is burning. We say my soul is burning, my heart is burning inside. When I'm suffering, we don't say the ego is suffering. Why? Why? Because when we are suffering, what we experience is the soul. We don't experience the ego. Who is hurt? Who is hurt? Dukh kone lage che? Mathu kone lage che? Who is hurt? Who feels the grievance? Who feels insulted? The ego. But who suffers? The soul suffers. The ego does not suffer. The ego feels hurt and makes the soul suffer. We are losing out good energy. We are wasting good energy. Good psychic energy, which belongs to the soul. And the ego, because it felt hurt, it is pained with the soul's money. Jeevna paisa thi aham dhandho kare che. This is the story of our life. And why is the soul burning inside? What is it saying to us? What message is it giving to us? What is it saying? Okay, please free me. Please free me. That is why we suffer. It is the, what do you call? It is the trembling of the soul. એ અંદરનો જીવનું મુક્તિ માટેનું તડપણ છે. It is the trembling of the soul for freedom.
Yeah. Is that the same as heartache?
Yeah.
Because losing somebody and that pain that you feel, you actually physically feel the pain inside you. So that is the suffering of the soul.
It's the suffering of the soul. The soul suffers.
Because I'm sure people have experienced at some stage, but it's really you always hear about heartache, but when you experience it, it's a very different experience.
When somebody near dies, when somebody has an accident, or you see some scene which is a Raudra Roop, that kind of scene you see.
This is when I lost a friend.
And the soul is asking for freedom at that time. Because there's nothing like death. The soul understands that. He's saying, why am I being made to suffer unnecessarily? He's telling us, free me. But the ego comes in the way. The ego comes in the way. It says, do this, do that, and you won't feel the suffering. And the soul is saying, transform the suffering. Use the suffering to heat, to create heat, so that identification of life goes, the hypnosis of life goes, and we wake up and we realize that there is nothing like suffering. All suffering is useless. So the gopis are saying, Tava katha amrutam tapta jivanam. Je tape che eni mate jivan rupi. Jivan rupi. But we waste the heat. These moments of suffering are so precious in our life. We waste the heat. If we can just turn that heat onto the ego, not onto the soul. Turn that heat onto the ego. And then it changes, the word tap, it changes into tapaha. Austerity, tapaha. Then જીવ બળતો નથી. જીવની એ જે બળવાની અગ્નિ છે એમાંથી તપની અગ્નિ ઉત્પન્ન કરે. We have turned the direction of the fire. The direction of the fire is on the soul. We turn it on the ego. This is sadhana. This is tapa. To turn the direction. And the ego burns in that. And in that burning there is purification, emotional purification. There is separation. The hypnosis of life breaks. The I and life separate. Because in that heat, both of them are separated. The gold is separated from the impurities. There's separation. So, the gopis are saying, Tava katha amrutam tapta jivanam. It gives a new life. It gives a new life for those who are suffering. To find that one, the seed of suffering. Buddha went through so much of tapa. What all he practiced for 6 years. He left his wife, he left the palace, he left his son, he left everything. Only one, what is the root of suffering? Where does suffering come from? What is suffering? He staked his life on that. And for 6 years, he travelled from guru to guru, from master to master. And wherever he went, he could find different forms of yoga, do this, do that, do this technique, that technique. But what is the root cause of suffering? Nobody could give it to him. And then after 6 years, he gave up. He went into the jungle to meditate. And still, after all that meditation, he could not. And he had fasted for months. His whole body had become just a bag of bones, skeletal bag of bones. And he then decides that he's going to commit suicide. There is no way out. Every disciple comes at one point where there's no way out. He has to say the only way is to end life. There's always some higher force, something. And he goes to the river, Niranjana river. And the river is in flood. And he says, now, the time to go. And he jumps into the river. And he knows that he's not going to reach the other shore. It is impossible to reach the other shore. And a creeper comes in his hands. A whale in a hatma, which creeper comes in his hands. And that pulls him to the other shore. He had given up. The river was in flood. He was supposed to die. And he's lying unconscious on the other shore. And one young girl is taking kheer for the temple god, Bhagwan ne ghara mate. She is the daughter of the chief of the village. She's going to take, she's taking kheer for the temple god. And she sees this man lying there, unconscious. And he's unconscious because he's been fasting for so long. And she, instead of giving the kheer to God, she gives it to Buddha. And she revives him. And one small boy is there who makes a mat of grass and he sits down on that grass. And then throughout the night, a whole process goes on. This whole process. When you come into the deepest depression, suddenly you're thrown to the other extreme, the highest bliss. And from the deepest depression, through the night, he went through all his old memories, dropping them one by one by one. He had already dropped desire. The other, only one bondage remained, the bondage of memory. And he dropped them one by one, from the palace to his son to everything. One by one. He dropped them. And throughout the night, this process goes on. And in the morning, as the sun is rising, there's one star in the sky, Venus, the morning star. And the sun rises, and the star vanishes, and with that he is enlightened. He says, my mind vanished with that one star. That star vanishes, I also. And he had found the cause of suffering. Then he shares it. Tava katha amrutam. Then he shares it with people. So they are saying that your katha, your words, and these words are born out of consciousness. They're born out of consciousness, not ordinary words. And they lead people from a state of pain, of suffering, out of it. Kavi bhir iditam. Kavi dwara vaknaelu. Kavi dwara share karelu. Kavi dwara badhani jode apelu. The poets, the rishis, the kavis, iditam, to implore, iditam, to share. They have given these words which you have given, they have shared these words with everyone through different verses, through different chand. Now, when a person shares truth, he is working with other people. He is working with other people. We'll come to that little later. So, but that truth which is being expressed cannot remain the pure truth. Because when he is speaking it speaks through his sanskar, through his inner structure. If he is conscious, then the truth is not tainted so much. But if he is not conscious, then the truth is tainted a little. It is painted. It still remains the truth. It still remains the truth. That is why we will call it as a B influence. Kavi dwara editam. Kaviyo dwara editam. Kavi dwara vechaelu. Share karelu. When the kavis do it, when the rishis do it, they do it in a certain chand, in certain language. in certain verses. That is why the Gita is in chant. All the sons, it's in a certain verse. There's a certain science given to it. They want to put it in a language in which the truth remains as pure as possible. It's very difficult because the Gita we have is not the original Gita. It's not the Gita which Krishna told Arjuna. It is the Gita which Sanjay told Dhritarashtra. It's not the original Gita. Krishna told Arjuna, that was heard by Sanjay, and Sanjay told Dhritarashtra, that also 10 days later. The whole Gita is in past tense. So it has to be in a certain verse, in a certain chant, so that the truth can be held on to. The truth is not diluted. Iditam, to praise. તારું ગાન કરવા વાળા તે બધાઈને ખૂબ આપે છે. Those who are singing your praises, તે બધાઈને they are giving abundantly. Giving abundantly. Kavi means a sage, a one who transmits the truth. It's very difficult because the Guru has a limited time on this earth, and in that limited time he has to find someone to hand over the knowledge. And most of us are stuck in mechanical life. Nobody is interested in this knowledge. We're interested in the new movie which comes, but who's interested in all this. Nobody is interested in this. So it's very difficult for him to find someone. And they have to search to give it. And it cannot just be given, because he knows that if it is given to the wrong person, it will be not only diluted, but it will not remain that original truth. It will be polluted. The truth will get polluted. And this has always been a problem. Whom to give it to. In my life, I've seen so many gurus, but many times when I see the disciples, the whole truth has been diluted. The whole truth has lost its. When the guru says the same words the guru says and the disciple says, both the guru says it has tremendous meaning. The same words if the disciple uses, it loses its meaning. So it's so difficult. So they use the word kavi, a sage, a rishi, the one who has transformed himself inside. A poet opens, a small window opens and he has a glimpse of truth. He may not have seen the full truth. So the word kavi is it's half and half. It is half and half. Somewhere they have seen the truth also, but they are yet not grounded in the truth. They are yet not able to live the truth totally. Many great poets, you see that when they speak, their words, they contain glimpses of the truth. Rabindranath, he writes, my whole life I was searching for that truth. My whole life I was searching for that truth. At one point I realized that just behind this door lies the truth. So I went to knock on that door. Okay, once that door opens, I'll be, drowned in truth. I'll experience that truth. And he goes to knock on the door. And then he's about to knock on it, but he says, if I knock on this door and once I understand the truth, then what? And the ego does not want to die. It is not a bodily death, it is 1,000 deaths put together. But who does not want? At the last moment, says, then what about the thrill of the search? What about the joy in searching? Then what will I do once I experience truth? There will be nothing to do. So he says, I'm still searching. I know it is behind that door, but I knock on every other door, but I don't knock on that door, because I know it is behind that door. So poets get a glimpse. They get a glimpse. So they use the word Gopi Geetam Iditam, the one which is praised by poets, sung by poets. Narsi Mehta. Vraj Balu re Vaikunth nahi aao. Why? What was it? Why? What that final step to go in Vaikunth? Why did you stop over there? Why did you stop over there? We don't know. Maybe it is just a game he's playing, because some of his poetry says that he has got it also, and in some we see that these. But this one statement can mean many things. Why did you stop over here? So they are saying that a person who has glimpsed the truth, he can spread this message. He can take this message across. Gopi Geetam, the one which is praised by Kavis, by the sages, by the rishis. Kalmasha apaham, papnu nash karna. It eradicates one's sinful actions. Kalmash. To be caught in the depths of karma, kalmash. To be caught into conflict. To be cut up in life, to be short-circuited in life. The opposite of kalmash would mean good fortune, the evolution of good fortune. So, kalmash means those deeds which sweep away good fortune. Those deeds which sow the seeds of karma, kalmash. Klesha, those seeds of karma. Every moment we are sowing a seed. Every moment we are sowing a seed. This moment, are we sowing a seed? If we are daydreaming, we are sowing a seed. If you are making an effort to stay awake, then we are not. Stay awake, I am not talking about sleep. But identification. Identification is the seed. It is the seed of future action, kalmash. So, age a kalmash apahan. Apahan એટલે અપહરણ કરવું. What is the word in English for apharan?
Kidnapping.
Kidnap, not kidnapping. To take away. To take away. That which takes away the seeds of karma. Your words are such. They are full of amrit. They give new life to those who are suffering. They are those which are praised by the kavis. And they are such words that if we understand them, they take away the seeds of suffering. They eradicate the seeds of suffering. Ha means to leave, to kill, to give up. Apharan. The force of apahan destroys klesha, destroys the seeds of suffering. Like we have said before, there are 4 seeds. The whole go down of karma is made out of 4 seeds. 4 master files which create the whole of karma. The first is egoism, known as asmita. Egoism, I. When we use the word I. The second is rag, attraction. Attraction to the good in life, attraction for pleasure, attraction, attachment. Attachment. The attachment means I'm attracted to something, and when that is over, there is desire for repetition. That is rag, there is desire for repetition. Dvesha is the opposite of raga, it's the same thing. Dvesha, the opposite of raga. Hate, repulsion. And with repulsion is the desire that it should not happen again. Again, the desire that it should not happen again. Rag and dvesh. Every moment, it transforms into like and dislike. Every moment, this labeling of life into like and dislike. We are sowing the seed for kalmash, future repetition. For future repetition. The seeds of kalmash, the seeds of suffering. And the final is abhinivesh. Abhinivesh. The desire for continuity. The father wants continuity in the son. I want any kind of continuity will do. In the end, if you can't give me any kind of continuity, write my name on a bench in the garden. At least somebody read it and there'll be some continuity. Give me some kind of continuity. Some kind of continuity. Desire for life, abhinivesh, the fear of death. And Patanjali writes one beautiful sentence when he talks of abhinivesh. Vidusho api, je vidvan che, those who are learned, those who are very near the state of enlightenment, even they are not free of abhinivesh. They have got rid of the other kleshas, rag, dvesh, asmita, but abhinivesh, they are still hung on to abhinivesh, the fear of death. And it's shocking because I've traveled and traveled with so many gurus. I may have worked with 4 gurus, but I've seen so many gurus, big gurus, famous gurus. And on their deathbed, when death is approaching, suddenly this one klesha of abhinivesh engulfs them. The whole life has been a waste. Gurus with huge disciples, centers all over the world. And I've seen them when death was approaching. They had not been able to rise above the fear of death. What was the point? What was the point of so many disciples? What was the point of so many books? What was the point of it? Everything was a waste. In that final moment, there is this desire that I want to continue. And I was with Vimnaji, and I remember one guru. He was on his deathbed, he had cancer, and he was supposed to go at any time. And he phoned, so he's saying my state is good, everything is good, so it's good. And then the last sentence he says, is there anything that can still be done for this cancer? You threw away the all your life, all that you were practicing throughout life, gone in a shot. Abhinivesh, the klesh. So he's saying, these gopis are saying your words get rid of kalmash, get rid of the seeds of suffering, they get rid of the kleshas. Just by hearing the words, you have to live the words. It won't come free of charge. You have to work towards it. There's an effort involved. There's a prayatna involved. So kalmash is that which cuts the deeds of good fortune. Good fortune means not I get a lot of money or anything. Good fortune means I rise in consciousness. I rise in consciousness. It comes from the apahan, comes from the root ru, haran karu. Haran karu. So, Tava katha amritam tapta jivanam kavibhir iditam kalmasha apaham shravana mangalam. Shravana mangalam. Those who hear your words, those who listen to your words, not just physical hearing. There are different kinds of hearing. Psychological hearing is a different kind of hearing. It does good for those who hear. Shravan mangal, enu mangal કરે છે. જે લોકો તારા શબ્દનું, તારા કથાનું, અમૃતનું શ્રવણ કરે છે, એનું મંગલ થાય છે. It brings good fortune to them. To those who hear your words, it brings good fortune to them. It lifts their consciousness. It takes them on the path towards freedom. That is good fortune. Not with that which gives us money and sinks us deeper into the mess of life, into the kitchen of life. Not that. Not that which fulfills our ambitions. But that which wakes us up from life, leads us to a higher state of consciousness. That is Shravan Mangalam. How do we hear? How do we listen? How do we listen? If we are daydreaming and the words are just passing by our ears, we are not hearing. It's not falling on the last, on proper soil. The gopis are going to say, Bhuvi Grunanti. Bhuvi means land. Grunanti means Gran Karva Vadi Bhuvi. That land which is receptive to the seed. So that these words are seeds. These words are seeds. But it can only fall, the seeds can only fall on receptive land, on fertile land in our hearts, if we have heard properly. Shravana Mangalam. If we have heard properly. How do we hear? I remember I had one Guru Bhai, he's still there, Dr. Atre, and he used to do workshops on how to listen. He's written a book also on how to listen. The art of listening. Now we can listen with our reasoning brain and we can listen with our energy brain. Two ways of listening. The right way of listening is to come in between somewhere where we are listening to the flow of energy also, and we are listening to the words also. Cannot be done this way. We need a cushion where we are half sitting on the cushion and half the knees are down. If you go into many yoga societies, they have these kind of cushions where the knees are out and the buttocks are little up like this, and we are sitting in a slant, slightly slant, with the knees pointed down. That is the real way to sit to listen. Now what happens in that is that the tailbone, the end of the backbone, the tailbone remains free. Just now I am sitting on this chair, the tailbone is pressed. The tailbone is pressed. There the perineum remains free, because the perineum is a little outside the cushion. So I sense the tailbone. Now because the tailbone is a hanging bone, right? It is free. It can move with vibration. It can move with vibration. So when I'm listening to someone, whenever I go to listen to anything, I may go to somebody else's lecture or wherever I go, then if I'm listening, then I let the tailbone vibrate with the words. Let the tailbone vibrate with the words. So now I'm listening with two antennas at the same time. I'm listening with my ears. The meaning of the words is going in and being decoded. But these are not ordinary words. It's going to come over here. Shrimad Atatam. They are full of truth. They are full of energy. They are full of prana. Excuse me. So they are full of prana, those words. We don't want to just hear the words. We want to imbibe the prana. His emotions we want to imbibe. We want to become one with those emotions of the person who is talking. So we allow the tailbone to vibrate with the vibration of the words. So this is vibrating and we are hearing at the same time. Two things are going up the backbone. Two electric currents are going up the backbone at the same time, simultaneously. How? One is the vibrations and one is the meaning of the words, the listening to the words. Two things are going up. And it's a different kind of hearing. And that kind of hearing can, even if we hear something bad also, it will bring Mangalam only. That kind, it is the art of hearing, the art of listening. So they are saying, Shravana Mangalam, those who do Shravana, make an effort to hear. Don't let it just pass by. Make a yatna, prayatna to hear. Those who are doing this prayatna, for them, that very act of hearing changes and it brings good fortune in their lives. The energy rises. Our prana and the speaker's prana become one. Then it is not just words. The words, the meaning is there, but there is a meeting of two pranas. This is called yoga. There is a joining of two pranas. And then that state, for some time, that state becomes our state. If you go for a music concert, so the singer he takes us slowly, he's taking us into a high pitch, he's taking us. So he'll say, and he'll take us higher and higher and higher, and he'll keep on stretching the notes and take us very, very high to one point. At one point we'll be at the height, and at that point the mind stops and his singing and our listening, they both become one. We become one with the singer. We experience that height where he is trying to lead us. We experience that height. And then of course the singer, they have an art over there where they drop and they come down again. So again we fall from there. Then again the classical singer starts again and slowly he builds it up slowly and he again takes us to the top. Again he drops us from there. This is the art of giving a classical concert where he sings. So similarly, in speaking, there's the speaker and the person who is listening. And if both their consciousnesses can merge, then something else is born out of it. Then it just doesn't remain words and the meaning of the words. So they are saying, the gopis are saying, Shravana Mangalam, it brings good fortune to those who hear. It lifts their level of consciousness. Srimad Atatam. Srimad Atatam. Atatam means to expand, to stretch. Srimad means filled with truth. They are, your words are, they are heavy with truth. They are drenched with truth. And that Shri which is lying in the truth, these kavis, these people who are taking your katha everywhere, who are giving out your katha, they are vistrut kareche, they are expanding on that truth. They are stretching that truth. In different ways they are trying to put it so that the people can understand that truth. They are showing different dimensions of that truth, different pictures of that truth in different ways. Juda juda ayam ma e baat kari ne e satya ne kheche che. Shri extracting the joy of life. From that truth, they are extracting joy. So your truth is full of Shri, full of spiritual power, the gopis are saying. And those who sing your song, they are expanding upon it, they are stretching upon it. Truth is so multidimensional, so multidimensional. In the 50s, there was a form of photography which was called, it was a new invention at that time, which was called holographic photography. And in the hologram, the photograph of a part used to reveal the whole. So if you cut off a leg of a dog and take a photograph, the photograph of the dog comes. So it's called a hologram, holographic photograph. And So within the part is the whole. The whole is within the part. Truth. Even a small part of truth, if we can stretch it, expand upon it, then we can have a glimpse, a feeling of the greater truth behind, of that which is behind. The holographic food. The part is just a small hologram, but within that the whole dog lies, the whole truth lies. Then in the 80s they were researching on the internet, and there was this scientist called Benoit Mandelbrot. And Mandelbrot was trying to decipher certain shapes. And he couldn't find it, so he left something on his computer. He went to have coffee, and when he came back, the computer had made a shape which now it is called as a fractal, the fractal geometry of nature. And this was the discovery of Mandelbrot. Mandelbrot, of course, died in a car accident, so he couldn't expand on his thing. But before he died, he says that the new science which will come, the new science will have three foundations. The theory of relativity of Einstein, the quantum theory of Max Planck, and fractal geometry of nature. Fractals. And today, fractals are being used everywhere, right from art to science to economics, in the stock market. Fractal. What is a fractal? So, supposing there is a mountain, there is a tree. So, what was the intelligence in the design of making that tree or making that mountain? God is not a fool. God can't be a fool. Man is intelligent. Man is intelligent. Right? A man makes this beautiful room. The length and the breadth are all in perfect shape and symmetry. But God makes a mountain, there's no shape and symmetry in making the mountain. It's all a chaos. And when he makes a tree, he's not measured the length and breadth properly. Something wrong over there. So, then what kind of intelligence made that? Definitely God has to be a higher intelligence than man. So, then they found that there is an intelligence beyond this. The apparent shape, there is an intelligence beyond the apparent shape, which Mandelbrot termed as a fractal. And he says if there's a mountain, there is one basic shape. There is one basic shape. And the repetition of that basic shape gives rise to the mountain. If there's a tree, there is one basic shape. And the repetition of that basic shape gives rise to a tree. And he said, everything in nature has a fractal. Has some basic higher intelligence, and it is just a repetition of that. Now these are two dimensions of truth. Two dimensions of truth. One, that the part contains the whole. And second, there is nothing like the whole. The whole is just a repetition of the parts. This is science talking. This is not the rishis talking. This is science talking. When Kabir Sahib, when he first attained, he had a glimpse of truth. Okay. And the first sentence which came out of his mind, he said, from his mouth was, Boond samana samundar mein. The drop has dissolved in the ocean. The drop has dissolved in the ocean. Now this is one dimension of truth. He's saying there's that the drop is dissolved in the ocean. It is not the leg of the dog you are seeing there, it is the whole dog. The whole dog. Hologram he's talking about. The drop has dissolved in the ocean. But truth, when it comes, when it dawns, truth Initially, it takes time. The truth comes in a flash. It comes in some dynamic streak of lightning. Suddenly there's a glimpse of truth. But to live that truth takes time. It takes time to digest it, for the psychic structure to make itself, to be able to adjust itself to that higher experience. Because that truth is expressed through the psychic structure. So when the psychic structure, it slowly gets used to it, it slowly digests that very deep experience it has had. And then that truth sort of permeates the mind, it permeates the body, it permeates the thinking, it permeates the speech, it permeates the seeing. It goes throughout, it takes time. So there is the glimpse of truth, there is the understanding of truth. It takes time. And after some time, Kabir Sahib understood the truth. First he had a glimpse of truth and he said, no, I made a mistake. बूंद नहीं समाना समुंदर में, समुंदर समाना बूंद में. There is nothing like a samundar. The samundar is just a repetition of the boond. You think it is there. There's no samundar over there. There is just this one drop of water which is repeating all the time. This one fractal repeating all the time. It's two dimensions. So the gopis are saying Shrimad Atatam. Those who are taking your truth, your katha everywhere, they are expanding upon the truth. Their words are drenched with truth. They are heavy with truth. They are expanding upon it. Bruni bhuvi grunanti ye. Bruni bhuvi grunanti ye. જે ધરતી ઉપર જે ધરતીએ એને ગ્રહણ કર્યું. ભૂવિ means land, ધરતી. ગૃણંતિ એટલે ગ્રહણ કરવા વાળી ભૂમિ. So these kavis are taking your truth, they are expanding it, and people are Shravan Mangalam, listening to it, and it is falling on soil where it will expand, it will grow into something. It will develop into something. So, ભૂવિ ગૃણંતિ રે જે ધરતી ઉપર એ વાવેલું છે ત્યાં એ વિસ્તરે છે. So that Shri which is in your Katha Amrutam, that Shri, a bhuvi grananti, it is falling on a certain land of the heart, of the chitta, and there it is expanding. Is it really expanding? I hope it is. It can only be said to those who are willing to take it. Seeds cannot be thrown on dry land. I remember when my teacher must have known that his last months had come, and he went on a tour and he started giving talks, and his whole life he had never toured anywhere and given lectures anywhere. And for 6 months he was touring and giving lectures everywhere. And he was throwing seeds, and in many places one could see that he's throwing seeds on dry land. But it was just a chance that somewhere it falls and maybe somewhere it will grow, somewhere something will spring out of it. But we need a magnetism inside. Magnetism which it creates a kind of love for that, for the seed which is given. The seed must be received into the soil. It must be given water, moisture. It must be given air. The soil doesn't have to be tight. It can't be obstinate inside. There must be a loose soil. And there must be a proper temperature. It must be looked after like a bird looks after its egg. It hatches the egg, sits on the egg. The seed which is sown in, it must be hatched. In Zen there's a saying, if you will tuck from the inside, I will peck from the outside. Guru is telling his disciple, the Guru is telling his disciple, that if you are in an egg, the seed is an egg. you try to break the egg from the inside. You hear my words, you try to break the egg from the inside. If you try to break the egg from the inside, I will try to break it from the outside. So that land which can accept it, that land which the seed just doesn't lie a waste on that land. Where the seed is accepted, there is the water of understanding. And that water of understanding can only come through acceptance and love. There must be some, if we understand something, we do it. Understanding is from the heart. Knowing is from the brain, from the head. If we, understanding has the quality of love to it. We understood something. So if we know these exercises, then we'll do it one day, then 3 days we won't do it, then again 5 days we'll do it, then again 10 days we won't do it. We know these exercises. But we understand these exercises, then every day we will do it because we've fallen in love with them. You have to fall in love with the truth. Nothing less than that will do. A newlywed couple, the wife wants all the husband's attention. Nothing less will do. All 24 hours. Nothing less than 24 hours. And if the couple is walking on the road and one beautiful girl goes by, the husband's attention goes a little like this. The wife will give him one whack. One whack. Right? Attention on me. Similarly, that inner God wants all 24 hours. Nothing less will do. Nothing less will do. All 24 hours. It wants that one arrow. He's not saying give me all. 90% of your attention you put on life. But that 10% you give me all 24 hours. You divide your attention. Divide your attention. Put 90% on life. I don't bother. But that 10%, put it constantly on me. All 24 hours. And if we can do it for 24 hours, we've done it. It's done. 24 hours. That's all. So, when the gopis are talking about themselves, they are talking about, okay, you sowed the seed in our hearts, that seed is expanding. We have looked after that seed, we have given love to that seed, we have saved the seed from the wind, from too much sun we have saved it, and now it is growing up. They are saying, Bhuvi Grunanti ke. Ye Bhurida Jana. Bhurida. Da means to give. Bhuri means very much. Very much. Frequently. In the Mahabharata we have one character called Bhuri Shrava. Bhuri Shrava. Shrava means to flow. Bhuri means that which frequently flows. So he's a symbol for karma. Karma, that which frequently flows. Karma is born out of repetition. Karma is born out of repetition. So Bhuri Shrava is symbolic for karma. He was Bhishma's cousin, first cousin. Bhishma's father, brother Somadatta, and his son Bhurishwara. So that old he was. He was as old as Bhishma. That old he was. So Santanu had a brother, and that brother's name was Somadatta. Even Somadatta was living. So they are all fighting in the Mahabharata war. And Bhurishwara, that old age karma which is born out of this frequent flowing. So they say Bhuri means frequently, abundantly, generously. Da. These people who are doing your katha, who are giving your katha, they are giving abundantly to people. They are giving abundantly to people. For that truth they are spreading it, but it has to be heard positively. Shravan Mangalam. Bhurida Janaha. So we can take this to mean two meanings over here. Ye Bhurida Janaha. They are giving abundantly. They are giving to the people. Janaha means people, the one who is born. Now here we can take the opposite meaning also. Right? That they are giving abundantly to people, or we can take Janaha to mean those who are giving. Them, those who are giving, they are getting abundantly. They are getting good fortune abundantly. So we can take this meaning to have two types of meaning. Those kavis, Kavi Geetam, who are singing your praises, and those who are listening Shravan Mangalam, and in their hearts the seed is growing, Shrimad Atatam, the Bhuri Grunanti in their hearts. Bhurida Janaha, those they are giving abundantly to people. They are doing this very good work of giving your words to people. They are spreading they are doing that good work. So they are giving good fortune to people. Or we can take it in the opposite, that because they are allowed to spread your words, it is their good fortune. They are getting abundantly. Because they have this good fortune to be allowed to spread your words. They have been, it has come in as a part of their life. They have been given this role of spreading your words. It is their good fortune. Right? It is not that the listener learns. The speaker learns in teaching to the listener, in giving to the listener. The teacher learns more. In every repetition, he learns a higher and higher dimension of the same truth. So it is not that, it is a feedback process. So they say, by spreading these words, they are doing very good work, because everybody is able to hear these words which bring mangal in everybody's life, which bring good fortune in everybody's life, which take them on the path of truth. But, so they are giving abundantly, but it could also mean they have got abundantly because they are allowed to spread these words. We can take it both ways. Abundantly એટલે ખૂબ વધારે. Abundantly એટલે જોઈએ એના કરતા વધારે આપે છે. જે જરૂર છે એના કરતા વધારે આપે છે. એટલે એને પણ મળ્યું છે અને શ્રોતાઓને પણ મળ્યું છે. So those people who are doing this katha of yours, of your truth, they are Gurida Janaha. And they are the most fortunate. Taru Gan, doing your katha, Taru Gan karta karta, એ લોકો આપે છે અને એને પોતે મેળવે પણ છે. આપે છે અને મેળવે પણ છે. So we said there are three kinds of influences. The A influence, the B influence, the C influence. The A influence is mechanical in source, mechanical in action. The B influence is conscious at its source but becomes mechanical in action. And the C influence is conscious at the source, conscious in action. Right? So the gopis are saying, Tava Katha Amrutam, your Amrut Katha, your this immortal Katha, these words which are full of the nectar of life, which are full of the truth of life. Tava Katha Amrutam, which are drenched with truth, Tapta Jivanam, they lead people out of the misery, the burning of life, the purgatory of life, the hell of life. They lead people out of this burning of life. Tapta Jivanam. Kavi Bhir Iditam. They are praised by the kavis, by the rishis. They are shared with everyone by the rishis. Kalmash Apaham. The seeds of suffering, the seeds of karma are taken away, are kidnapped, taken away by this, by your words, by this sharing which people are doing. The people's seeds of suffering are taken away. They are made free from the seed of suffering. Right? Shravana Mangalam. To those who hear, they bring good fortune, prosperity, higher states of consciousness. Srimad Atatam. These words of yours are full of truth, they are drenched with truth, and these people who are talking about it, they are expanding upon the different dimensions, the different shades, the different colors of that truth. Ye Bruni Grunanti. If they fall on the right soil, they are received by that soil, by people's hearts. After Shravan Mangalam, they are received by people's hearts. They fall as seeds on certain soil, and there something grows which can transform everyone's life. Ye Bhurida Janaha. These people are giving abundantly and they are getting abundantly. Actually, I wanted to also talk on what it means to work with others, but that is a very long thing, so I won't take it today, I'll take it tomorrow. Who can work with somebody else? There are three kinds of work. Work means sadhana. Three kinds of sadhana. And all three must go together. All three must, it's not something it's not steps, right? It's not steps. A child grows all the limbs of the body together, right? In yoga we call it as Ashtanga yoga. Everybody translates it as steps of yoga. They're not steps of yoga. It's the tree of yoga which has 8 branches. All those branches grow together. All those branches. Ashtanga. It is not Ashtapada. It is Ashtanga. 8 limbs of the tree of yoga. 8 limbs of the body of yoga which grow together. Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam. So just now, if I am just starting yoga, Yam will mean something for me. But when I reach the deeper aspects of yoga, Yam will take on a totally different meaning. The limb has grown. The limb has grown. It has matured into a different understanding. So each limb of yoga will grow. Right? So, similarly, when we move on the path of sadhana, we follow 3 lines of work. Sadhana means work. First is work on self, where we work on our selves. The second is we work with others. And the third is work for the work. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. All 3 must go together. So work on self is our personal sadhana. What we do for ourselves. Right? Even in my personal life, I travel, but once I go back, I have to work on self. I can't say I've achieved something. Then it goes, it's all gone. There must be continuous work on self. Continuous. We go through the same thing again and again. Keep on tempering the steel. Keep on sharpening the knife. There is no point where you say that the buck stops over here. I've achieved everything. It doesn't stop over here. All the achievements go to the ego, eats it up. That's the end of it. So there's a continuous process. So work with others, work on self. And work for the work for the teaching, work for truth. For truth. And truth does not have a personality. When we work for the teaching has a personality because it has been expounded by some guru. And the guru had a body and he had a personality, a pleasing personality, and he did this and he did that, etc., etc. So the guru has a personality. And when the same teaching comes to the disciple, he is faced with this dilemma. Because there is the teaching and there is the personality of the guru. It's the personality of the guru. And it is a big thing because the disciple has to separate the teaching from the guru. Because the teaching is a part of truth. And truth does not belong to anybody. It does not belong to the Guru. It never belonged to him in any way. And it is very difficult for the disciple, because the disciple loves the Guru. He is attached to the Guru. He is attached to the body of the Guru. He is attached to the personality of the Guru. And he has this task. The Guru does not have the task. The Guru just expounds the teaching and he goes away. But the disciple has to separate the teaching from the personality of the Guru. If he holds on to the personality of the Guru, the teaching can never last. Then it becomes a personality-based teaching. Then it is not truth. So these are 3 lines of work. Work on self, work with others, and work on for the teaching. So tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about, before we go into the next sloka, we'll talk a little bit on work with others. How we can work with others. This sadhana is not something that we just do in our room and we go into meditation or something like that. We are not going to become avduts. The avduts can go into the jungle and do it, right? We are not avduts. We want to have a sadhana of balance. Our inner state also transforms, our relationships also transform, and there's harmony in our living. All 3 together. If we become an avdut, then the inner state transforms, but we can't relate to anyone. Can't relate to anyone. The same thing which happened to Alexander. Alexander came to India in 326 BC, and one day he went for a walk on the banks of the Jhelum river, and he saw this naked fakir lying in the sand over there on the banks of the river. And Alexander stood there and he's looking at him. That fakir opens his eyes and he says, "Who are you? Please get out of the way. The sun is falling on my body and you're blocking my sunlight." Alexander was shocked. He was the king of the world. And he says, "This beggar, he doesn't have one cloth on him, and he's telling me to get out of the way." But he looked in his eyes and he saw that this beggar, he looks more like an emperor than I look like an emperor. There's something in his eyes which is very, very dynamic. So he tells him that, "Who are you?" So he says, "My name is Diogenes." So Alexander tells him that, "How do I achieve what you have achieved? Because it looks like I am the beggar and I am really the king of the whole world. I've conquered the whole world. And how do I achieve what you have achieved?" And he says, "Very simple, take off your clothes and lie here in the sun next to me. I'll teach you everything." And Alexander says, "I would love to, but still I have to conquer China. China is still remaining. Once I've conquered China, I'll come to you." Come to you. And then he says, "It will be too late. You're not going to come back. It will be too late." So then he says, "If it's too late, then in my next life I'll ask God to make me Diogenes." So when Diogenes says that, in my next life I'll tell God, make me a donkey, make me a cow, make me anything, but don't make me Alexander. And Alexander goes away, and this was heavy in his heart that he had met someone. But Diogenes was an avdut. He was lying there. There's no relationship with people. The truth was with him, but how to express that truth? And then of course Alexander's soldiers, they said that we don't want to conquer China, we want to go back, we are homesick. And they went back, and on the borders of Persia, Alexander falls ill and he's in deep fever. And in his last days, he knew he was dying, because he had a great teacher, Aristotle, so he knew he was dying. And he remembered Diogenes. And he told his people that when I'm dead, when you bury me, keep my 2 hands outside the grave. Here was the king of the world, but he died a beggar. Couldn't carry anything with him. So, work with others. We don't want to become an avdut. We have to relate in life. So work on self, work in relationships, and work in harmony for the work, for truth, for the sake of truth. 3 lines of work we'll talk about tomorrow. Right? Thank you. Good night. Before we go into the slope, we just talk about what we were talking about yesterday. The 3 lines of work, mainly work with others. So we said there were 3 lines of work. Work on self, that is our personal sadhana. Work with others, between others and self. And work for the work, which we talked about yesterday. I won't take it today. So the first is working on self, that is our personal sadhana. Unless we work on ourselves, all other work is imaginary. We cannot help someone unless we have worked on the same thing within ourselves. So just out of knowledge from books or something we have read, we cannot help someone else. So usually when we are helping other people, we are helping from our ego. So the starting point is practicing for self. If we are still making accounts inside about others, we are still judging other people. We say he has too much of an ego, or we feel we are mistreated. If we are still blaming other people, if we are still trying to show up, if we still feel we are unappreciated, if we still hold grudges against other people, if we feel I am better off, I am doing good, if I lose my calm immediately, if I think negatively of others, if I think life is unfair, then I am not still ready to work with others, help someone else. Only a person who can sympathize, that is, put himself in the other's shoes, wear the other's shoes, put himself in the other's situation, what he is going through, living what he is going through, then it is possible to help someone else. Most of us are identified with life, our personal problems, our personal emotions. So it is when we are hypnotized by our own problems, right? And then we cannot sympathize with anyone else's problems. It becomes very difficult. When we have no problems of ourselves, we have everyone else's problems. But till then So most of us are so much caught in life that life is just draining energy from us. All the conscious force, all the energy we need for our personal sadhana is being drawn away by life. So life takes away everything from us and gives us nothing in return. So it is only by making an effort to observe inside, by being conscious, that we can prevent being drained by life. By the daily events, each event takes away some force. Again another event comes and takes some force. So as we are mechanically, we are just what you call guinea pigs of life. Life wants energy and it takes it from us. And we give it in our worrying, in our anxiety, in our negative states. We keep on giving to life. Now the minute we start observing ourselves, somebody inside is observing, somebody inside is looking, then this action of life stops, this taking away of our energy, taking away of our consciousness. But even a small thing at present drains us. It could be anything. The vegetable seller has charged a little more, or the coolie is asking for too much money, or somebody's things are not arranged properly and things should be arranged properly. All these small things in life are just taking away energy from us. Then we cannot do sadhana. It is not possible. It is as if we have lost something trivial, a 5 rupee coin or something, and the whole day we are spending picking up bed sheets and removing mattresses and shifting tables to find that small trivial thing. There's that very famous story about one man. He was looking for the alchemist's stone. So that stone which you touch anything with the stone, it turns to gold. So somebody told him it's on the banks of the Caspian Sea, you go over there. So he went on the banks of the Caspian Sea. There were so many millions of stones over there. And so he said, now how to find it? So he would take one stone and touch, and then nothing would turn to gold, and he would throw it into the Caspian Sea. Then he'd take another one and he would touch, and then again see nothing turning to gold, and throw it into the sea. And then this went on for months, and it went on for a year, but he didn't tire, he kept on doing it. And one day he touched something and it turned into gold, but he was so habituated in throwing it into the sea that he threw it into the sea. This is the story of our life. So, we keep on looking for something which we already have. And we are looking everywhere except where we are supposed to be looking. So we waste our life in the most trivial and silly things. And we think they are the most important. So when we are identified, when we are hypnotized, when we are asleep, we don't realize what a terrible illness we have. We don't hate that state. We hate everything else in life, but hate the state we are in. So the first line of work is work on self. We must work on self. And this is a continuous process. You don't come to a stage where you don't work on self. Even after experiencing truth, the work continues on self. Now, the second line of work is work with other people in the work. There are so many having the same aim that we have. Right? So, if we are a group of people and if we are practicing, then we must get to know each other. There must be knowing of each other. This is what is called an ashram, what is called a school, where there is a conscious effort to relate to each other. Relationship is an art to relate. Like you make a painting, you make a work of art, there is a way of relating, consciously relating to people. And there is a joy in relating. Just as an artist has a joy in filling colors into the painting, there is a joy in relating. Right? But if I immediately cut you off, I cannot relate to you. If you say something and I immediately say the opposite thing, I cannot relate to you. Then no painting can be made. But if you say something and I fill in another color, you fill in another color, then slowly both of us enter into a conversation. And that conversation makes a painting. You may be totally wrong. I may feel you are totally wrong. But I am more interested in making a work of art, making a painting. Right? So there is an art in relating to people. And when many people are going on the same path, they are moving towards the same aim, there must be interrelationship. There must be the art of relating with each other. It becomes very shocking at times when you see people have been practicing for years on themselves and they've never made any effort to connect with other people. And when they connect, they are so full of their own ideas, their own contradictions, their own prejudices, that they are not receptive to what the other person is saying. When we work only on ourselves, without relating to others, it can lead to a subtle ego of the work, a different kind of obstinacy, a different kind of self-love, a different kind of abhiman. Connections to others open up inner connections. It opens up different parts of the intellectual center, different parts of the emotional center, just by relating to people. So, if we don't relate to people, there can be no change, no progress, especially with today's brain. Maybe 50 years ago it was possible, I don't know. But today it is not possible. Now, one of the things we should know is that we only make friends with people whom we approve of. People who have the same prejudices which we have, the same contradictions which we have. Now, when we are moving on the path of sadhana in the work, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? What is the art of relating? To relate to someone we dislike. Someone we dislike. So that is our examination. I dislike this person. We are making an effort to relate to him, and a point comes when I start liking him. The dislike turns to like. There's a transformation. Usually in life, when a number of people come together, they quarrel. Unless their aim is clear. As mechanical people, we are just going to quarrel. We're just going to throw each other's aggressiveness at each other. So what is our aim in coming together? If our coming together is for some ambition, some position of power, then we are bound to quarrel, because my ambition, I will do anything to fulfill it. I will quarrel with you for it. I must be better than you to fulfill my ambition. Wherever there is truth, there can never be any quarrels. There can never be any quarrels. Wherever there is truth. So, that is the truth. It's not possible to quarrel. Truth means non-violence. Truth means no antagonism. So, if you are saying we are quarreling for the truth, it is not possible. Truth can bring unusual people together. People who have no matching, but just because they are searching for truth, they can come together. It enlarges our consciousness. It opens our consciousness. Because we all value inner transformation, not outer transformation. It enlarges our lives. We are willing to sacrifice our mechanical reactions in life for a higher cause. We are willing to sacrifice our hypnosis, our ambition, our quarrels with each other for a higher cause. See, supposing you and I are fighting, because we are neighbors, we have one wall, and we love to fight over the wall. So I am hanging my clothes here on this side, you are hanging your clothes on this side, but my clothes go 1 inch onto your side, and then all the problems start, right? And tomorrow we get news that somebody has attacked our country, right? So in that we forget our small differences, and we get together and we listen to the TV and listen to what has happened and this and that, right? So whenever there's something higher, the aim is for something higher. Of course, this is a negative example. But when the aim is for something higher, then small quarrels are sacrificed for that something higher. We are obeying something higher, something which is transmitting higher influences. And that frees us from the lower. We sacrifice the lower. If such a group gets together, it is called an ashram. It does not mean that they are all living together. But if there is such a group, it is called an ashram, it is called a school. And that school, because there is one aim, it has power. It has power of being together. That very aura, there is a different vibration. It has a different power. It is like a battery which has its own magnetism. And it suddenly starts attracting different things in life. Life opens up. People who come into contact with such a group will start feeling that they are getting healed from inside. I know when people come in the ashram, they say just by stepping in the ashram we feel so much peace over here. So the group which is following one aim, they become like a big dynamo. And they are, they're creating their own power. So truth should reunite people, even if life disunites people. Now supposing we say one sentence that we are mechanical people. Do we accept that? If we accept that, then can we get angry on someone else? Is it possible? Because what does this mean? That I am a mechanical person. What does it mean? I am saying that I realize that this person can act only in this way, because a machine can only put the hammer over here. A machine can't say that, oh, your finger has come in and let me take away the hammer. It's not possible. It's not possible. The machine has to keep on hammering. That is the law of mechanics. Right? So if people are mechanical and they are mistreating me, and I have seen my own mechanicalness, then I know that the machine can act only in this way and cannot act in any other way. There is no point in reacting. The reaction won't come, understanding will come. But we don't see our own mechanicalness, and that is why we feel everybody should. But if we are all machines, then we only act in the way we act. So in any given moment, a person can act only in the way they act. He or she may be telling a lie, insulting us, cheating us, acting egoistically, ignoring us. But if he or she is a machine, it cannot be different. It can only be in this way. Then he or she is not deliberately doing it. They're not deliberately doing it, but they are mechanically doing it. It's mechanically happening. But if we feel the other should not do it, then we will fight, we will curse. We have not realized our mechanicalness. We have not looked inside. If we can understand the other, that he or she is mechanically arranged to act in this way, we would never react. There would be no negativity in the world. But we hate to think we are machines. It's a very disturbing statement to say that we are machines. We live in this illusion that we are doing everything very consciously. And that is one thing in the ashram, that people are allowed to insult the other person. And if you get insulted, it is your fault. It is your fault. People are allowed to give it to the other person. And if you feel hurt inside, it is your fault. So we are machines, but we can awaken to something totally higher, something very, very different in life. But for that, we have to be free from the hypnosis of life. So if we work on ourselves, if we rise above this mechanicalness, later we will go into different categories of mechanicalness. Now another thing about this, when we are relating to people, I am a machine, but I cannot say you are a machine, right? With another person I have to relate with sensitivity, with softness. Well, right? I have to make a conscious effort to relate. This doesn't, give me a free ticket. Okay, I can tell he or she is a machine. When things get bad in the ashram, then people say, he's an irreparable machine. Irreparable machine. So we never say, because then again we are talking from our ego, our snobbishness. When we call somebody else a machine, we begin from the idea that I am a machine. I am a machine. So through a long process of self-observation, we realize this idea that all life we have been doing everything mechanically. But we also don't take the other person as conscious. If we take the other person as conscious, then the hammer has to know not to hit over here. Right? We don't take them as conscious. And in this way, we don't blame them for not behaving with us properly. We don't blame anyone. And this stops the inner monkey, this inner talking. We are always disappointed in what the other is doing. We expect the wife should do this, the husband should do this, the sister should do this, the cousin should do this, the aunt should do this, and of course the mother-in-law has to do this. Friends should be like this, and everything should be different from the way it is. It's not possible.
What happens if, with this mechanical nature of people, if two people are engaging in a conversation and then someone else comes too, it's just common courtesy that the two should acknowledge somebody coming too, because that's how you're taught as you grow up into an adult.
That is a conscious effort. But if that person curses you for saying good morning, you don't
ignores you for that. I can't say then that that's mechanical. I think that's rude. That shouldn't happen, because they should then be aware that they need to, especially if it's an adult. Does that happen?
Then I'm asking the other to change. And I will never change. So there must be deep acceptance of the fact. The fact is that he is rude, and that's it. And he is wired to be rude. This is his inner wiring.
That's painful.
You'll be shocked, but as you grow in consciousness, life will bring, it just happens, life will bring so many situations where you will face terrible rudeness. Just now the rudeness which we are facing is nothing, but I know what Ram Dulare Bapu had to go through, what others had to go through, life brings such situations just to see whether you blink an eyelid or not. It always happens. It always happens.
Can you give us an example? Sorry, it's nice to know where one can relate to it from an example. Then one could test how far you can be pushed.
I was in 1984 in the US, in Osho's ashram in the US. And here is a person who is a guru of thousands and thousands of people. And he was taken by the authorities, he was chained. Him in chains was paraded all over the TV. He was put in jail. In jail he was not even given a bed, he was made to sleep on an iron bed. Right? So, this happens. But there was no negativity anywhere. I can give you so many instances. The only thing is that when you talk about these instances, that a lot of personal thing comes into it. That is why it's very difficult to talk on a public platform about all this. But it always happens that as you grow in consciousness, life will bring incidents which will try to pull you down, because this is life's motto. This is life's motto. And as you grow in consciousness, you got more diamonds and gold than anyone else. And life has a value on that, has a value tag on that. For her, that is like robbing the king's treasury. You get it? She wants that energy which you have gathered. She wants that consciousness which you have taken. If she can make you slip this thing, she's going to create all kinds of conditions.
You've also, like now with what this example you've given, that whatever happens to you is your fault. You've brought it on. Now how he has attracted that so that he was trained. Is that?
Yes. Yes. Even after realizing a certain truth, you don't redeem all your karma. Karma comes to meet you in different forms. Right? It may have come to Raman Maharishi in the form of cancer. It may have come to Ramakrishna in the form of cancer. It does not mean they did not realize. They did realize the truth. Right? But a certain part of their karma has to be lived through. You cannot redeem it totally. And it comes in some form to meet you. It has to come in some form to meet you. So, because nature is on the other end of this thing. And if you slip, then nature gets a big quantity of energy. And so she's going to create conditions where you slip. And this is the law. It's the law. I'll just talk something. We have robbed from nature to become consciousness. One of the words in today's slok will be, Hey Kuhuka, O deceiver, O sly one. The gopis are telling Krishna, O deceiver. Hey Chetarva, what we call it. So we have robbed from nature. Yeah. As you go deeper, you start using shortcuts. And these techniques are given by the guru to the disciple. And because the guru is interested in seeing that the disciple progresses fast. So supposing I'm starting a business or something, then I'll go to a bank and I'll tell the bank I want a loan. So the bank will say that, okay, but to pass the loan it will take 6 months or something. Now, I don't have 6 months for that to wait. I want to start the business now. So then I go to another bank, that this bank has promised me the loan after 6 months, you give me a bridging loan. So the other bank will give an immediate bridging loan so that the bank knows that my money is going to come after 6 months, and with this bridging loan I start my business on the premise that this bank is going to give me money after 6 months. So there are certain very, very secret techniques where nature gives what is called a bridging loan. And just imagine that I start a business and I get a loan from one bank. The loan is going to come after 6 months. And then I take this bridging loan and I vanish. Nowhere to find me. And this is one of the shortcuts which the guru gives the disciple. And he teaches him to work on his anger. I'm just sharing with you. Maybe, I don't know, we all maybe one day will be able to use this, I don't know. Now this is a very, very powerful technique. So the guru says that the highest energy which normal man makes is anger. Even though we feel it is sex energy, but it is anger. Because one day we will talk about the different stages of the development of energies, and in the development of energies, sex energy is a very fine energy, but it is an older energy. It is the last thing. The food goes in, something comes out, then the food goes here, something comes out, then it goes here, something comes out, and then finally the sex energy. So it is the last stage of the whole process. Whilst anger is an in-between, so many higher things can grow out of anger. I don't know if I'm coming across. Anger is not, you say something and I throw it out. Now, if what you have said had gone on a process of digestion, then from that anger, so many new things would have grown out. So anger is a very fresh energy. Sex energy is a very old energy. It is the end of the cycle. Whilst anger is the beginning of the cycle. So from anger is the most precious energy. Even though both sex energy and anger, they are materialistically of the same level. But anger is more valuable than sex. So the tantrics work on sex energy. They don't work on anger. The yogi learns to use a tantric method with anger, not with sex. And this is a very powerful technique which is rarely shown to anyone. Now, the minute I am angry, nature is laughing at me. Nature is in full form because she has got a very, very powerful, and it's like a short circuit. I've gathered some energy, I can't hold it. You just say some word and I've thrown it out, and nature has a field day. She takes this energy. Now what we don't realize is that this process happens very, very fast. But there are stages in this process. There is a point where I decode what he has done to me and I get angry. These are two different stages. That is, I'm getting angry, and the process of expressing the anger, there are two different stages in this. Now, why do we not see, why don't we see this gap? If we see this gap, we won't get angry. We won't throw away this energy. But this gap is bridged in some way. You get what I'm trying to say? So here I'm feeling angry. The whole body, the breath, the blood system, everything is vibrating in that anger, and it's ready to explode, but there is a gap between that feeling and the explosion. And nature is frightened that if I don't express this anger, she will lose this very powerful energy. So she gives me some energy to get angry. This we don't realize. That is why the whole day I may have worked in the office very, very hard. Right? I've come home, I can't move an inch. If my wife says, make your own tea, I'll say, no, you please make it for me. I can't do anything. But if he says something to me, I'll jump up and get angry on him. Where does that energy come from? So nature is providing me with this small bridging loan so that I give her everything I got. And this is one of the secrets of very, very fast progress. So the Guru teaches the disciple that the minute you're getting angry, get angry consciously. Hold on to the anger and bring it right to the stage that you're on the point of expressing it. Cheat nature. She will give you a bridging loan. She will give you very, very fine energy. This energy is called the energy of essence of consciousness. It allows us to have a glimpse of that inner Atma, that energy. So nature will spend some energy to get more energy. We will cheat nature. We will say we are going to get angry. We are on the verge of getting angry. She will give us that loan, and then we will take the anger back. And with that we will take this very fine energy. This energy, through meditation or any other technique, it would take a lifetime to get it. But through one anger you get so much of this energy. And this the Guru teaches the disciple how to consciously, play this game with nature. This is cheating nature. You're robbing nature of this sly way. So one of the things the gopis are going, they're going to call Krishna, hey, you're the sly person, you're the, right? you're a cheat. So in this way we cheat nature. What does the tantric do? Now that we've come this far, I'll just talk about it. I don't know whether this is the right place to talk about it, but what does the tantric do?
Hey, Rajan, I can ask a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned a lot about energy and nature. Now, what is nature? Is it the common man's understanding, birds and the bees, flowers and trees, or the bigger context, the universe?
Organic life. Nature as organic life. She wants to bring life to those parts of the universe where there is no life. So, supposing she wants the moon to get life, so she needs some very fine energies. Now, this is not something of science. So, man takes energy from the sun, transforms that energy into psychic energy and throws it out. He throws it out through negative emotion, anger, reactions. Nature takes that energy and gives it to those parts of the universe where she wants new life, where she wants evolution. So the finest energy which man makes is anger. Finest energy. Of all the energies which he makes, the finest is anger. So nature is always in search of that energy. That is how I'm talking about nature. I think I mentioned this before also. I've explained this in great detail. Yeah.
Then how do you, if you're not expressing the anger, what do you do with that anger? How do you react then?
No, just now we are in a reaction. This is when we have mastered our reaction, we can do this. Then we are acting.
What do you do?
You allow yourself to come, the anger to come right till here, but you're consciously controlling it. And the minute something will pause inside, you will get a glimpse, you'll be elevated to a higher state, and then you take the anger back. It's a very, very different technique which I'm talking about. Nobody has talked about this technique. So it's a, you can say in a way it's a tantric technique.
Do we control it or suppress it?
At present, sir, our anger is a reaction. One day we are free of the reaction. The anger can no longer hypnotize us. Then we use the anger as a means of cheating nature. And then the spiritual progress is very, very fast. Because you're getting the finest energy possible. It is in that energy that the divine is reflected. It is that which bridges to the divine. That inner link to the divine is created through that energy. We come to here, what does the tantric do? What does the tantric do? What is in sex energy? What is it in sex energy where we can, here we are not cheating nature, we are cheating the divine. We are not cheating. In anger we are cheating nature, but in tantra we are cheating the divine. How are we cheating the divine? Same thing. It's exactly the same thing, just turn it around. So, he brings the sex energy to a point of orgasm. Now, what happens in orgasm? Because a new child has to be created, a new life has to be created, this inner divine fragment which is sitting up here, the Atma, at the point of orgasm it vibrates. This chakra over here, it vibrates. And it releases its own chubby, its own blueprint into the sex energy. It releases it into the sex energy. So what the tantric does, he takes his sex energy to a high point, fools this person up here into releasing his blueprint, to releasing that essence into the sex energy, and then he takes the sex energy back. He reverses it and he takes it back. And because the divine fragment has released something in that energy, it is thinking that a new life is going to be born. He's cheated that divine fragment, taken the energy back, and he pumps the energy back into his system. The whole system is filled with glimpses of samadhi. He moves into a high state of bliss inside. So the same thing we are doing with anger, which the tantrics were doing in the old days through sex energy. So here we learn to cheat nature, and every moment we try to cheat nature because nature wants to cheat us. We have some energy which nature wants to rob from us. We rob from nature. Yeah.
Now, when we do that, are we not creating an imbalance in the state of, what shall I say, of creation?
No, we are bringing more harmony in a state of creation because we are increasing the which energy? Conscious energy. Conscious energy. So suddenly there is more harmony. The balance of conscious energy is increasing.
But at the cost of a lower energy, is that what you're saying?
Where?
No, to raise the conscious energy, you are cheating the lower energies to do that. Is that?
You're transforming something lower into higher.
Okay.
You're transforming something lower into higher. We are transforming energy from lower into higher. Nature is using our lower energy as a higher energy for something lower. Something lower. Most of the time we say we don't have any fixed attitudes, obstinacy. So when we are relating to people, the other always has an attitude, the other is always obstinate. We are never obstinate, but we never realize that we have fixed ways of talking, fixed habits, fixed tendencies. In the most, if somebody says that you have any habits, we will admit to some physical habits. Oh yes, I smoke a cigarette or something like that. Right? But we will never admit to psychological or emotional habits. But we don't realize we grow up in a certain caste, we have a certain religion, we follow a certain profession, and all this fills our emotional center and intellectual center with habits. We are habituated to a certain way of praying, we are habituated to a certain way of worshipping, and everything is a mechanical habit. So what other people are doing is inevitable. We cannot judge it.
Suppose habitual liars. Habitual liars. People that just got habit of lying. What is in them? What makes them do that?
They don't realize that they're lying.
I know they don't realize. But what is? How would they realize that they're lying?
See, lying not from a moral point of view. When we talk about lying, we are talking about morality. But lying from a different point of view. Lying when I am trying to show something which I am not. Trying to show something which I am not. This is a different form of lying. Now, people lie. We don't realize that from the day we were named, everything we do in our life is a lie. We cannot do anything but a lie. The minute we say anything, it is a lie. And when we start observing inside, everything we have been doing is a lie. And this shakes us up. It really shakes us up. It is the lie which was named, it is the lie which got married, it is the lie which is relating. Everything is a lie. So, people are mechanically lying, it's okay. What is wrong?
It's very irritating. And it's not a very good character.
Use it as a stepping stone. Use it as a stepping stone to be free of irritation.
Okay.
Use it as a stepping stone to be free of irritation. I know people and who lie all the time, in everything they lie. But I have a lovely relationship with them.
I'll practice that.
It's so wonderful to go into the world of lying. No? It's a beautiful world.
I would never become. Hopefully not. Thank you.
If everything is a lie, why must we work? Why must we go?
To find the real. We peel off each layer of the lie. We keep on peeling off. Like Krishna took away the gopis' clothes. We peel off each layer of the lie. And in that we find that which is not a lie. That is our essence. And within the essence is divinity, the real I. Here every I is a lie. I'm relating to you, but there is an I relating to you. And that I is relating to you from my ego, from what I feel of myself, from what pictures I have of myself. You get what I'm trying to say? Everything that I imagine of myself, it's just an imagination that is relating to you. And in this I have to keep on observing and let go layer by layer till I come to the real. And that which is observing is the real. Like peeling an onion. Peel layer by layer. It's a painful process. Painful process. Now another important point in dealing with others is that one, they are mechanical, and number two, we are not dealing with one person. When we start observing ourselves inside, the first thing we see, we are not the same person. Every moment the person is changing. If my son comes in, the I which is going to meet the son is not the same I which is talking to you just now. It's a different person altogether. We don't realize it. This one is also imaginary and that one is also imaginary. Some of the very beautiful conversations I have with people is when somebody is cheating on his wife or something like that. I really love those conversations.
How can that be beautiful?
And the girl comes and tells me, he told me this and he told me that and he promised me this and he said his wife was like this, but his wife is not like this. You see the imaginary, how the lying, the whole imaginary self which he creates, that guy has created to trap this girl. And it's so artistic.
But you know, it can be very painful.
Right, so use the pain. Use the pain. You don't possess anybody. It's the pain of possessiveness, and possessiveness is a lie. It's the pain of possessiveness. And it is this understanding people's relationships. It's so much of color in life. So much of richness in life. So we are not one person. The minute we observe inside, I'm showing something to you. If I'm sitting with a friend, I'm showing something totally different to him. If I'm with my wife, I'm showing something different to her. Maybe there's somebody, other girlfriend, and I'm showing something different to her. And this is, who am I? Who am I? In all this, who am I? We are an imaginary person. Each moment we are an imaginary person. That is why we say we don't have a real I, we have an imaginary I. And this is the beauty of the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata teaches us that we are not one person, we are 101 people, 101 negative and a few positive. We are 101 negative people inside of us. Everybody is within us. One moment I become Duryodhana, one moment I become Bhishma, one moment I become Karna. Everything is changing. Every moment the I is changing.
So Rajan, then how can we be kind to ourselves when these negativities come about? Can we say it's okay? There's 101 people within us, so it's okay.
For us it is okay, but for others it is okay. If somebody has cheated me, then it is just the Shakuni was in charge of the guest house, and that's it. It's absolutely okay. And if somebody is very egoistic with me, then Duryodhana is in charge of the guest house. The I has changed. Shakuni has gone away somewhere. And somebody can't understand what I'm trying to say and he's blind to, then Dhritarashtra is in charge.
Is this now the false personality? Eh?
These are all I's in my personality. Try to understand this. Let's talk of three things: essence, personality, false personality. Essence has one I, the real I, that is very close to God. That is, you can say that is God, Krishna, the soul, the real I. The essence has one I. It never changes. Never changes. That once that feeling of that I comes, once I feel that I, knowing may be far away, once I feel that I, the feeling of that I never changes. It is always. Initially it comes in glimpses. So that I never changes. Now comes the personality. The personality is all the roles which I perform. One role may be the main role, that is my profession in life. I may be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, whatever. But I am performing so many roles. With my son I am a father, with my father I am a son. Right? So many roles, and each role is a part of the personality. The personality is a crown. The personality is a crown. But this whole crowd of imaginary people within me, they have one name. If they all had separate names, there was no problem, but they all have one name. You don't give your child 101 names. Krishna has 101 names. So, he is given one name. He has only one telephone line, one mouth. There are no 101 mouths. The gods have so many mouths. But he has only one mouth. So all those 101 people are talking through one telephone only. All those 101 people, wherever they go, they are signing the same name. So even though we are a crowd inside, we have this imagination that we are always the same person because we are signing the same name. And it could be the same deal. It could be the same deal. He's come to me with a good deal. I'm very happy with the deal. And I say, okay, I take this deal. And then she comes along and fills my ears that he's a useless person, he's this, and how come? But now I have to sign the deal. The person who did the deal and the person who's signing the deal, they're two different people, but the name is the same. I don't realize this. The person who goes to sleep at night is not the same person who woke up in the morning. The person who wakes up in the morning is cursing this waking up in the morning. You see, he's not the same person. The person who promised to you is not the same person who broke the promise. Now, if I can see this within me, that every moment I am changing, every moment the emotions are changing, every moment the thoughts are changing, there is nothing stable in me, then how am I going to blame another person? It's not possible. It's not possible. If today he cheats me, then I just say the person who promised was one person and the person who broke the promise is another person. It's the end of the matter. The end of the matter. It's just matter of fact. There is no reaction also inside. You just know that this is how it has to be. Now what is there in lying? He broke the promise. But somebody else is in charge of the guest house. And this brings acceptance of life. Deep acceptance of life. We live under this illusion. South Africa has got into my blood. Instead of saying live under this illusion, I was saying love under this illusion. We live under this illusion that it's the same person we are talking to. It's never the same person. And this opens our consciousness. Then we can take in any person, whatever he says. He becomes a part of our consciousness. He's not separate from us. He is us. Because if he has cheated us, then Shakuni is very much here also, as much as it is the same character. You see, the yogi has no autobiography. It's the most stupid thing for the yogi to have an autobiography. Because there is only an autobiography of whom? Of these characters. Duryodhana has an autobiography. Because Duryodhana is in everyone. But the personality can have no autobiography. The personality is gone. It doesn't mean anything. The personality is composed of 101 autobiographies. You get what I'm trying to say? So, when we realize that the other person is not one person, he's so many people, and we can't blame any one of them, because he himself does not know that the person has changed inside. He is living that illusion that I am the same person. There's so many people inside. Then all our reactions fade away. The whole way we relate to other people changes completely. So this will come after a long process of observing ourselves and in our light observing others. We do not have one permanent I inside, real I. That is why Raman Maharishi used to tell people that go ask the question, who are you? People sit and they meditate, who am I, who am I? Like a parrot. You have to pay a parrot to do it. It's a quest, it is an inner journey, layer by layer. You move, you relate, you know that I am not this I am not that I. Descartes did this, René Descartes, but then he came to a wrong conclusion. He said, I think, therefore I am. He had no guru to guide him. He went through this process.
Does it mean that everyone's sort of mentally imbalanced or schizophrenic, or those that are, maybe they real and we not the real one?
Everybody is mechanical. A mechanical person does not have a psychology. A machine does not have a psychology. So the question of telling anybody they are mechanical doesn't arise only. They are like this.
Basically, bottom line is acceptance.
Acceptance, increase of consciousness. The acceptance is not a forced acceptance. By increasing of consciousness, that person is me. I am not separate from that person. He is me.
Sorry, Rajan.
Yeah, sure.
when René Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, that's very different from aham brahmasmi.
Oh yes. Aham brahmasmi is I have no thoughts, therefore I am. It's a different thing. Very, very different. So, we must study the Mahabharata. Study the Mahabharata. And then things don't matter, no? So just now I'm having tea with my wife and she's in a good mood and we are in a good mood. And suddenly 5 minutes later her mood changes. Huh? There's no problem in that. Right? The person has changed. It's absolutely. But we say you have broken my trust, you have cheated me. Huh?
Nothing wrong with that.
What are we saying? What are we saying? When we are saying that you have broken my trust, when I'm telling him, what am I actually saying? That tu to aavo chhe. I'm telling him, tu to aavo chhe. What am I saying?
You are.
I'm saying who evo? Nothing. I'm not saying tu aavo chhe, I'm saying who evo? Nothing. You can't give us medication. I'll add it to my library.
If only it was that easy to accept it like that.
Huh?
If only it was that easy to accept it that way.
It is that easy. It is that easy. It is that easy. It is, everything else is not easy. In deep relaxation, this acceptance comes. So it is the most easy thing. Because it only comes in deep relaxation. And then everything false is released. You're not holding on to anything false. So it is the most easy thing to do. But we can't let go. We can't let go. Now the third thing in relating to others is which I are we relating from? And is that I apt for the situation? Is it right for the situation? We may be wanting to say something, but the way we are relating, we may not be expressing it properly. And this is one of the things that can we express exactly the way we think? It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Many years ago, my teacher sent me to the income tax office to teach some income tax commissioners and some income tax officers the exercises. So, this was around 1989. And somebody in our group asked my teacher that, why did you send him? He has just come in the group. So, he said, but he expresses it very clearly. Expresses it very clearly. How are we putting it to the other person? And what is the first law? The first law that we cannot say it in a way which hurts the other person. We cannot say it in a way which hurts the other person. Before the tongue can speak, in the presence of the master, it must have lost the power to wound. It cannot hurt it can shake up the other person. All his values and prejudices can shake him, but you have no right to hurt the other person's ego. So the expression must be clear and it must be understandable. We must have enough of knowledge. Many of people, they have what is called an intellectual laziness. So they tell me, we will do all the practices, but we don't want to understand all this nonsense which you are telling us. They have a kind of, the intellectual center does not want to get involved in the sadhana at all. This is an imbalance. Many people come, "Ke હું તો ભક્તિ કરું છું, મારે કઈ સમજવાની જરૂર નથી." It doesn't work that way. This is an imbalance. It is a form of intellectual laziness. Both the centers must be in balance, the intellectual center and the emotional center. So do we know enough? We may love our sadhana, but are we intellectually involved in the sadhana? Do we know the science of the sadhana? Do we know the science of what we are saying? That is very important. If we are going through any negative emotion, never try to teach anyone else. I may be going through jealousy, I may be going through some other form of negativity, then I put teaching somebody else on the side. Some people, they have difficulty in sharing with people. Something stops them from inside. They feel as if they impart the knowledge, they lose something. Whenever we talk, we always talk in a matter-of-fact way. We don't slowly put the light of I in different shades so that we become more important than what we are talking. And the other, we have no ticket to say that the other person has to listen to us. He may be ignoring us totally. All our words may be falling on, but we have no right to react. No right to react. So, to act with another person that he can understand, this is work with others. Work on self, work with others, and finally is work, for the teaching of the work. For many years, my teacher used to tell me that, see that my name is nowhere. Don't, add my name. And then later, many years later, it came to me that the teaching and the person, the source of the teaching are two different things. Two different things. People make temples to the source of the temple. They forget the teaching altogether. Because people are always looking for a shortcut. They don't want to live what the Guru has said. So they'll build a temple to the Guru and put his photo inside and put his asti inside, and God knows what they do. And this is just a shortcut of and then they'll do puja and they'll do thali and this and that. And they've forgotten the teaching. And that is why for years I was wondering why he used to say no photograph to anyone, no this to anyone, no that. And then it struck me many years later that he wants to destroy himself totally. Because the teaching is more important. To live the teaching is important. Right? And that is work for the work. So work for self, work with others, and these all three must go together. It is not you do one thing, you do all three together. There are three limbs of our sadhana. Three limbs of our sadhana. Right? If we have realized something within ourselves, it is our duty to tell somebody who is still trapped in it. But if we have not realized, we don't make a show that we have already realized it. So, if these three can go together, then the tree of sadhana grows beautifully. It grows in harmony. Right? You see? I'll just start today's slok at least. So we can continue tomorrow. Prahasitam priya prema vikshanam viharanam chate ध्यान मंगलम रहसी संविदो य हृदि स्पृशः कुहक हे कुहक नो मनः शोभयन्ति ही. Your smiles, your sweet loving glances, the intimate pastimes and confidential talks we enjoyed with you, all these are auspicious to meditate upon, and they touch our hearts. But at the same time, O deceiver, they very much agitate our minds. I have not taken this exact translation, they agitate our minds. I have taken it in a different way. Hey Priya, Priya Hasita. Hey Priya, Prahasita. Pra means to go forward, Hasitam in laughter. Laughter. Haswama agar vadhu. To go forward in laughter. So the gopis are saying, hey Priya, Krishna is not there. They are saying, hey Priya, Prahas, your laughter. Your beautiful laughter. Right? Your Prahasita. Hey Priya, Taru Prahasit. Your beautiful laughter. Prema Vikshan. Your loving glance. The way you look at us. In 2 sloks before this, what did he say? What did he say? Vikshana, Pushkar, Ikshana. Your nourishing glance. Your nourishing glance. Poshan apu vado taru drashti, he had said. Now he's saying your loving glance. Your prem apavadi drashti. But there he had said Ikshana. Here he's saying Vikshana. Vishesh Ikshana. Extraordinary Ikshana. Extraordinary glance. Viharana. A haran કરે છે. What does it do? A haran. Vishesh rite. It kidnaps. It steals away. It takes away. It kidnaps. What does it kidnap? All our negativity. All our negativity. We'll go into it step by step. So your loving glance, your laughter, your loving glance, it haran કરે છે. It steals away, kidnaps all our negativity. As a result, dhyan mangalam. As a result, dhyan mangalam. The resultant is when all the negativity has gone away, we are in a state of auspicious meditation. Auspicious meditation. Dhyan mangalam. અને એકતામાં કરેલા જે સંવેદો, those loving talks we had with you when we were alone, અમે એકાંતમાં કરેલા જે તારી સાથે જે વાતચીત થયેલી, right? Now this will have two meanings. One is the gopis and Krishna, and one is the seeing and the seeing. એકતામાં કરેલા સંવેદો. Those confidential talks we enjoyed, the intimate pastimes which we enjoyed with you at some time. તે હૃદયને સ્પર્શે એવા હતા. They touched our hearts. They filled our hearts. હૃદય સ્પૃશ. Hey Kuhaka, O deceiver. Hey Kuhaka, O deceiver. અમારા નહ એટલે અમારા મન, નહ મનઃ, અમારા મનને he ખરેખર definitely, O deceiver, our mind definitely શુદ્ધ થાય છે. These, your laughter, your loving glances, they steal away our negativity. They leave a state of meditation, but O deceiver, they agitate our minds. हमारा मन ने हलावे छे. They agitate our minds. I have not taken this that we are agitated, you are not here, Krishna. I have taken it as they agitate our minds, they transform the minds, because the word Shubhayanti. Shubhayanti means astonishment. Astonishment. Shubdathav. Stabdathav. Astonishment. So a child is astonished. When a child sees a flower, it is astonished. When it sees a butterfly, it is astonished. So to go back to that childish astonishment, you have transformed our minds, you have changed our minds. You brought it to a state of childish astonishment. You have agitated our minds. So I have just taken this sloka in this. I'll just read the Gujarati translation once again. हे प्रिय, आपનું ખડખડાટ હાસ્ય, તમારી પ્રેમ ભીની નજર અને ધ્યાન માત્રથી મંગલ કરનાર, આપના વિવિધ પ્રકારના વિહારો અને હૃદયને સ્પર્શતી એકાંતિક વાણી, આ બધું હે કપટી અમારા મનને ખરેખર શોભ પમાડે છે. So all the translations have taken the negative aspect. We will go into the positive aspect of this. How do we laugh? Prahasita. Prahasita. How do we laugh? How do we laugh? And what is real laughter? What is real laughter? Whenever a person laughs, what should we first observe? Don't judge. But for our observation, what will we observe? What will we observe?
You may be happy.
Yes, but supposing he is happy and still laughing, what do we observe? What do we observe? And if we really observe, we will see something totally different. We will see something totally different. What is that? If you really observe people laughing.
Sound.
Yeah, sound. So yes, tell the tone. Now tell me, what conclusion will we come to? What conclusion will we come to?
There is a change in the aura of the person.
No. Supposing we listen to people laughing, we listen to their tone of laughter, what conclusion will we come to?
What makes
कबीरा जब हम पैदा हुए, जग हंसे हम रोए, ऐसी करनी कर चले, हाँ? हम हंसे जग रोए. What do we see? What do we see? Nobody is laughing. Everybody is crying. Nobody is laughing. Everybody is crying. Whenever you hear the tone of voice, you see that they are not laughing, they are throwing out catharsis. They can't hold something inside, and that is why they are throwing it out. And when you listen to the tone is not laughing, the tone is crying. Real laughter is something totally different. So that the gopis are telling Krishna, your laughter. What is his laughter? What is Krishna's laughter? There's so many laughter groups, no? There must be. They're all crying. Nobody's laughing. They're all getting rid of inner kachra outside. They're throwing it out. They're all cathartic. So, under the guise of laughter, we are throwing out our tensions, getting rid of. We can't hold it inside. And the only way in life to get rid of tensions is where two contradictions come in and we are able to laugh. We laugh at contradictions. And we laugh at inner contradictions. What is Krishna's laughter? What is Krishna's laughter? They are saying, hey Priya, Taru hasita, taru prahasita. Your continuous laughter, your ridiculing laughter, your mocking laughter. What laughter is that? What laughter is that? And this is the only real laughter. Krishna's laughter, not ours. What laughter is that? What laughter is that? You know, many years ago, I'm talking about maybe 1980 or something, my brother-in-law fell in love with one girl. And the father of the girl, so then we decided to kidnap the girl. So the girl was ready, but of course the parents were. So there was this big scheme, you know. And in the middle of the night we got the girl and we got them married immediately and all that. And then next day the whole thing exploded. So, and I went to meet the girl's father. And he's shouting and screaming at me and giving it to me. So I said, sir, one thing, after 5 years, you and I will be laughing at this situation. You and I? Today you're so tense, you're so angry, you're so this. But just say 5 years down the line, you and I will be laughing at the same thing, stupid things we did. What is Krishna's laughter? What is Krishna's laughter?
Divine.
Divine, definitely, but what is it? You want that laughter, not the laughing group's laughter. What laughter is that? Supposing one moment I have to wake up from this dream, and suddenly I see in this dream I was fighting for that 5 rupees from her. And I was saying, this house is mine, you don't come in my house, and this car is mine, and I possess this lady, she is my wife, and this. Suddenly I was to wake up from this dream, what would I do? I'd laugh at the stupidity of everything. I'd laugh. In this dream I was doing all this, and I was suffering, and I was doing this, and there was no cause for anything. It was just one big bubble, one dream. You poke the bubble and it bursts. I'd really laugh at it. Krishna is laughing. Krishna is laughing. Laughing at the gopis, laughing at us. He's laughing at us. That look what they're doing in their identification with the dream. They think the dream is real. And in that dream, they're fighting with each other. They are claiming this with each other. They are trying to achieve so many things, and in the end it is all a dream. And I've woken up from this dream, and what to do? Nothing but laugh, a mocking laughter that everybody is still in the dream. Prahasita. 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 This is real laughter. Real laughter. Now, the tears have gone forever. Because there is nothing now which can bring the tears back. The dream has broken. The spell is gone. There is no cause for suffering. The suffering was also in the dream. The falling ill was also in the dream. The getting well was also in the dream. You took away my 100 rupees was also in the dream. And suddenly he wakes up from this dream and laughs loudly. Then the laughing never stops. Prahasitam, not just hasitam, prahasitam. It's a continuous laughter. The laughter never stops. And as we practice self-observation, there will be points where we suddenly get a glimpse of something, a glimpse, and at that moment we laugh. We laugh at the stupidity of everything. In this dream we were doing all this. Maybe I'll stop over here. Yes sir, yes sir.
The term negativities
Yeah.
How do we define that? Because what is negative to the opposite person may not be sounding negative to us.
No, not in that way, sir. Electricity moves, electrons move from a positive to a negative pole. Anything in which the energy flows from in to out, where I lose energy is negative. Electrons have flowed from a positive to a negative pole. I have to reverse the flow so that electrons flow from out to in. I have to reverse the flow. Right? So that is the definition of negativity. Any emotional state, any mental state in which the energy flows from in to out. That is negativity. You are giving it a negative pole. Excuse me. Okay, we'll stop over here. We'll continue this slope tomorrow. Thank you, Jai Shri Krishna.